Here, the Dishonorable Commissioners meeting of Roane County, Tennessee is now in session. The Honorable Chairman Shannon Hester presiding. God bless these United States, the great state of Tennessee, in this honorable meeting. At this time, Cal Adams will lead us in prayer. Afterwards, remain standing for the pledge to our nation's flag, please.
Let's pray. Gracious Lord, Heavenly Father, what a privilege it is to be in your presence. And Lord, I thank you for each one of these that so willingly serve you. God, I pray for your blessings upon them, bless them with wisdom. Lord, in every action that they take, that it might, Lord, benefit our county, our state. Lord, that most of all, it's pleasing in your sight. Be with us now, we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge to our flag. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Please silence all your cell phones.
Mr. Chairman, just a point of order. Let's remember our firefighters that are out on the mountain out there, first responders fighting a humongous forest fire. Got a lot of manpower out there, so it's remember them.
Thank you, Commissioner. I appreciate that. Call roll. Got one. Kenny, do you help? All present. All right, this time let's go ahead and get started. Hear a motion to approve the minutes of the February 13th, 2023 meeting.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Now here's a second.
Second.
Any discussion?
Is this not working on here? I get motion.
I get second. Is it not working?
Yeah, you're on it. This is not working.
Oh, you're all behind me. Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none? Cast your vote. All right, I hear a motion to accept the committee reports and correspondence.
You need to vote.
All right. Passed. All right, then, motion to accept committee reports and correspondence. Motion by Hooks, second by Mr. Berry. Mr. Hooks.
I'm good, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Berry.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, under report number 10, solid waste, I guess the solid waste means so much. Talking about the department currently pays $200 per load plus fee for $97 for a ton of tires. We're talking about the rates going up. Do we know yet how much that rate will go up? You know that, Mr. Chairman?
Oh, I do not remember exactly, but it is going up a tremendous amount.
So by July 1st, we'll have another increase. Yes. And on the disposal contract for the convenience centers, that won't expire, so we're looking for an increase there probably too. Yes. And on the grinder, on that shredder, is there an opportunity for us together maybe to join there with a couple of other counties to dispense and separate the cost of that $1 million shredder that we can possibly share the cost with? Just I don't know.
Well, I mean,
just something we might look at.
I mean, that's totally different animal there if we're gonna be taking everybody else's waste as well.
No, I'm just saying on those, basically that was for the mattresses and stuff like that, tires and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the shredders be good on that, and the tires, that way we can landfill the tires when we're not able to now. We can shred them, and then the mattresses and box springs will be shredded up, and any metal will be recovered and all that. But right now, we're having to pay like $25
Right.
a mattress.
I just thought if we could share that cost maybe a little bit, something to look
Yeah,
at.
I mean, that may be a possibility, but that had to be workshopped or something.
Okay. Number 16, Mr. Crespo, do you?
Hold on just a second, did you have something to say on the line?
I brought a little clarity there for you, Mr. Perry. First of all, on the convenience center, contract that we have for, so that's out for bid now. We're expecting bid results, or open bids on April 10th. So we'll have a solid waste committee meeting, and then we'll call one after that to discuss that. We don't know that we're gonna see increases there. The increases that we saw from Republic this past year have been exorbitant, to say the least. We're hoping that the bids that come in are gonna be more competitive. So there's that. And then on the, what was the first question?
Shredder.
Well, no, it wasn't on shredder, it was, tires. Again, as we go through the bid process, we're hopeful that we're gonna see, some budgetary relief there as opposed to increases, so just fingers crossed.
Good, thank you. And number 16, on the, that TRISO, that's a lot of information on that thing. Are we, and I noticed it says, require a peak workforce of 820 workers and an annual average of 24 truck deliveries and 48 off-site waste shipments annually. So, is that enriched uranium that they're talking about?
Technically, yes, it's it's HALEU. Somebody in the nuclear industry helped me with HALEU. High assay, low enriched uranium, HALEU. So yeah, it's lowly enriched uranium.
Because at one time, we were able to get a settlement out of Oak Ridge over the difference in the uranium and the enriched uranium that they were shipping out. So we got $2.2 million or something like that.
Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. So this is documentation from an interview with the NRC, a community interview based on their application with the NRC, then whatever preliminary phase they're in with the nuclear.
And our folks are on that, right? Environmental Review Board's all.
Oh, yeah.
They're all over there. And then on number 17, the transportation projects, I noticed we're still on the Caney Creek Bridge, say it's underway, the process is underway,
Yes.
and the 4-laning of 70.
So the 4-laning of 70, we do have an issue there, at least, Roane County Public Utility does with, the state of Tennessee, TDOT has communicated to a public utility that we're gonna be responsible for $6.5 million for, infrastructure relocation. I know we've been in touch with our, state legislators.
Right.
To hopefully get some relief there. We know precedents have been set where that's not been required from TDOT projects, so we're working through that.
Okay. And I guess the other thing that really caught my eye there was up on the interstate, where there's a $28 million project going on.
That's the bank stabilization project.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's just one project. And if you go back and add up all of the millions of dollars that have taken place on 40, we might need to try to get some numbers together and convince the state that, that interstate coming back through Rockwood might not be a bad deal. I mean, there's about an $8 million maintenance every year on that thing. But for $28 million, that seems absurd to be spending that kind of money on a recurring basis.
And the thinking is that this is still somewhat temporary.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Any other discussion on the acceptance of committee reports and correspondence? Hearing none, call vote. Thank you. Notaries at this time. I don't have any on my docket. Do you have, will you read them for us, ma'am?
We've got 11. We got Jeffrey R. Chapman, Pamela Denise Crabtree, Karen Fink, Christine Freddick, Amber Goodman, Michaela Griffiths, Donna Lorraine Harris, Tyler Maxwell Janot, Amber Schuler, Carrie Townsend, and Kaylee Young.
All right, motion by Mr. Hoods and second by Mr. Gann. Mr. Hood.
Just glad that you're willing to serve.
Mr. Gann.
Nothing further, sir.
Any discussion? Vote. All right, at this time, we'll,
Wait on you folks.
thank you. At this time,
He was settled in, anyway.
we'll hear from,
We'll get the move on.
delegation, or hear from the residents at this time. If you want to address the commission, please step forward and state your name and address where you're from, and you'll be limited to 3 minutes, please.
Yeah, my name is John Keck. I live over at 1200 Longville Road, and I want to discuss traffic on Longville Road. Do I do it now, or?
Yeah, you got 3 minutes.
Okay, let me get my notes. Yeah, myself and some other neighbors, I lived over there for 2.5 years on my father-in-law's property they bought in 1954. And I've heard that this has been an ongoing problem on Longville Road, people speeding. I have a working farm. I have had grow hay over there. And, you know, it's posted 30 miles an hour, but people are doing 50, 60 miles an hour. I'm not exaggerating. And I have talked to a couple of the you guys have talked to David Bell, talked to Mr. Brackett over here, and the previous person that was here. So what happens, we're down there working on the fence row, or we're cutting, or just getting my mail or anything like that, and I mean, the people just will not slow down. They're doing 50, 60 miles an hour, I'm not exaggerating. I talked to the sheriff's department, or one of the councilmen did. I appreciate the sheriff coming by, and I appreciate them putting the note that they're patrolling the area, but I really think you need to set up some kind of radar. See, we have access to the freeway there, so everybody on this end of town evidently comes down Longville Road to get to the freeway. And going both directions is really dangerous. You're taking your life in your own hands. When I go around, I see everything's posted 30 miles an hour. If I'm over here in Midtown, or I can go all the way to the elementary school, or I can go over here to the fort, or I can go anywhere around town, and no one's speeding. But for some reason at Longville Road, we just let it go by. And I came out to this area to get away from the city, to get away from people who are breaking the laws. And, cause I lived over in Knoxville for 20-some years. And now out here, I have the same kind of problems. So I wanted to know, and let me just throw out real quickly, because Jared Walker, who lives down the street from me, is not able to be here this evening, or either his neighbor, Brandon. And we have a concern with semis. It's posted that semis not come down that road. Well, guess what? Here's a picture you can send around. UPS comes down this road every day. And you can pass this picture around. If you like to see, that's one I took the other day. And then I have another one on my phone that Jared gave me. So if you want to pass around my phone, I can show you that. Evidently, GPS tells them to get off there at Longville, to get over here to do business, make deliveries. They go down Longville Road, they get to Ladd Wright, and it tells them to turn left on Ladd Wright Road. Well, guess what? Has anybody gone down that road? Over by the elementary school? You can't get a semi down that road. Well, guess what? They go down it, and then they figure out they can't. We've also, the church across the street from my house, has had semis come down there and try to turn around in the church, and next thing you know, he's hit a light pole. That happened one day. Then he was in the ditch after that. The highway patrolman that was there was gonna let him off, but he said when he hit the light pole, he couldn't let him off for that. So, and I don't want to talk about the damage that they're doing to the road. I think you all know, as I understand, that when Pilot was over on the other side of the freeway there, they put concrete on the road on that side of Longville. Well, now we've got Cassie's up there, I think is what it's called. And on this side of Longville Road, it's nothing but holes. It's just a disaster. So I want to ask, what can we do about this? What can we change to make it more safe? For myself, in fact, my wife walks down the driveway, up a very long driveway. She saw a man walking his dog down Longville Road. I talked to Patrolman Mr. Harris, I think it is, a while back. He's with the Highway Patrol, very nice gentleman, but he said they've never had a fatality on Longville Road, and that's why they will not patrol it. So, is that what it's gonna take, is someone getting killed
The highway
because they
patrol,
won't do 30?
to my understanding, the highway patrol's not gonna patrol long.
Right.
Anyway.
But it,
Kingston or Roane County deputies
Okay.
that patrol.
okay, well, I was trying to, anybody I could get to come over.
Yeah. We can definitely make mention to them, and to monitor the traffic is probably the best that we can do.
And then the semis again too.
Yeah, it's not,
And we were sitting there talking about damage to things and what it costs the county and all this kind of stuff. Well, here we go. We've got people in the wrong place with the wrong type of vehicle doing damage. The picture I showed you of a UPS truck, that was at 12 noon. There was another one down there the other day at 2 o'clock when I was working down on my creek down there. So I'd like to see something done if you can. Love it out here, love living on Longville Road. But this is not Knoxville. And this is what I love about it. It's not Knoxville. So if you could do something, I'd really appreciate it.
all right, thank you.
Any questions for me or? Okay, thank you.
All right, next.
I've been told, don't touch the stand or it'll shut it down.
You're good, sir.
Okay. My name is Doug Heel. A little later tonight, I know you're voting on nominations for the Industrial Development Board. I know some in the room, and so I thought I'd come and answer any questions or give a brief introduction. I live at 630 The Battery, end of Ladd's Landing. And about a month ago, Jim Owens approached me and said, would I be interested in helping to support the Industrial Development Board? And I said yes. I think he has distributed a resume out. My family, son, daughter, and wife moved here about 4 years ago. Children attended UT, and we had the blessing of being able to settle down almost anywhere we could. And we picked this area, we love it. As the last gentleman said, great place to live and a great place to be. Since joining here, I run one engineering firm out of Oak Ridge. We have opened up 2 additional businesses in Roane County, one located at the East Tennessee Technology Park. We employ about 40 new people, half of which are Roane County residents. So here, excited about the opportunity, looking forward to giving back to the community and doing what we can to help it out with the experience from over the years. So I'll be in the back if there are any questions or anything you'd like to talk, please just let me know.
Thank you, sir. All right, next.
Hi, I'm Jim Palmer at 185 Whippoorwill in Oak Ridge, which is the Roane County part of Oak Ridge. And I'm here tonight just to express my appreciation to the commission for all you've done for the IDB, and to also register unanimous support of the IDB for 2 resolutions that you're considering tonight, numbers 5 and 6. They're very important to a big project that we have in the wind and future projects. So I hope you'll support that, and I appreciate all the support you've given over the years to the IDB.
Thank you, sir. Next.
Hi, I'm Susie Walls, 296 Orchard View Road. I am the Girl Scout Troop Leader of Daisy Troop 20555. Girls, we stand up. We just wanted to say thank you for letting us attend your meeting tonight. We also met with Judge Stevens, and he gave us a tour of his courtroom. The girls are earning their Democracy in Daisy's badge. So, thank you.
Thank you, Patty. is there any way you just bring them up front and get a picture of them, all of them?
He's not that scary. No. Face that way.
Just grow.
One, two, three.
How you doing, Ross? Thank you. How are you? Good.
Thank you for having us. Oh, wait, one more.
This is from me.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else, would like to address the commission at this time? All right, hearing none, we'll move on in our agenda. At this time, we'll, take the county attorney's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We had property maintenance court last month. We got orders to clean up 3 properties. We had about 12 cases. The remaining properties, the owners had either cleaned up or were in the process of cleaning up, so they were given additional time. There's one other thing I'd like to report. About 4 years ago, there was a lady that bought a piece of delinquent tax property from Roane County in the Oak Ridge area. This property had title problems, as a lot of delinquent tax property has. So last month, she recorded a quitclaim deed in the registrar's office, conveying it back to Roane County. So next month, you'll be getting in your packet a title opinion from me, and you will either need to accept this property or reject it. If you reject it, then we will either need to transfer it back to her, or we'll need to file a suit to have her deed declared invalid. Because for a deed to be valid, there has to be a transfer and an acceptance. You can't just record a quitclaim deed in somebody else's name and say, I'm wiping my hands of this property. But that's the first time that I've seen that happen. But anyway, that's all I have to report. Are there any questions?
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Moving on to the county executive report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Staff budget meetings began today, meeting with all our departments. Connie and Jennifer and I, meeting with all our departments started today. We'll go all day, all week. Budget committee, of course, met tonight. Really appreciate all the commissioner support that showed up there. We need the commission to be as engaged as possible through this entire budget process. There will be some sticky points that we need to figure out together. On March 31st, Jack Jinks will be retiring. He has served in the county executive's office since 2010. So please, if you see Jack, congratulate him. Thank you for his service to Roane County. On March 27th, we will be opening up the hours to Canyon Creek recreational area. We've had tremendous feedback from the hikers that have been out there utilizing that. So we're going to, on the 27th, we're going to open it up starting early, 7 a.m. in the morning to 8 p.m. at night, 7 days a week. So I encourage everybody to utilize that and continue to provide feedback. Last week, we submitted our application to participate in the Tennessee Broadband Accelerate Program that'll be administered through TN, ECD, and the UT Ag Extension Office. And if chosen, we'll be one of 6 communities throughout the state that will receive intense technical assistance over a 16-week period to develop a comprehensive plan for how to bring broadband service to all of our people. This would greatly help our chances for funding when the next round of grants comes out next summer, next fall. So keep your fingers crossed there. We should hear something probably even by the end of this week. So the timeline's pretty tight. I met with a general manager and 2 board members for LCUB last week. And they've since communicated with me, and let me know officially that their general counsel retired. Unfortunately, the work that was to be completed on the Roane County Sewer Acceptance Agreement was not completed by that attorney, as we thought might be the case. However, Mr. Littleton assures me that they've retained a new attorney and that work should be done in the coming weeks. So at least there's progress on this issue. So I was pleased with that communication. Also, we received an executed contract from the State Department of Health on the implementation of we were gonna purchase new HVACs on the health department. However, we now believe that this would really only be a Band-Aid fix. We've been in communication with the Department of Health on this issue. They concur. So what we've done, we've asked our engineer that we already have on contract and architect to provide a redesign of the facility and what that would look like. Also, the state has let us know that there may be additional funding coming available even in the executed contract. Been in touch with our legislative delegation looking for an appropriation. We believe it's possible that we could find the money to do what needs to be done once and for all at the health department. So I've met with health department staff. Ms. Connor and I have been in communication. Our staffs work on this on a daily basis to make sure that the health department obviously is the safest place for us to provide public health to our public. And then finally, as many of y'all attended just a few minutes ago, Sheriff Stockton and Chief Phillips, Chief Holland attended our budget committee meeting this evening as we work through some critical staffing issues. That's not just a FY24 budgetary problem, that's a critical need that we have right now. So, Mr. Chairman, I know if you want to take this time to announce what we decided about a work.
Yeah, you just had to remind me of the date.
I didn't
write it down.
Yeah, we decided we're gonna meet a week from tonight, Monday, March 27th at 6 p.m. There is a building and codes meeting at 5. I think we should be done by 6 p.m. So we're gonna do a work session, 6 p.m. to discuss budget issues specific to the Sheriff's Department. It may spill over into a broader discussion about budget, but we're gonna be focused on Sheriff's issues. And I'll be glad to take any questions, but Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Thanks, sir. Any questions for the county executive? Mr. Berry?
You got me off there on that workshop. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, I had a senior moment.
No, that was what, I'm pretty sure that's what we agreed on, is it budget committee, right?
Yeah, it wasn't that, it was,
Health Department, LCUB.
oh, no, it was broadband. The federal money is supposed to be released to the states in June.
June, okay.
So we should be ready for an application.
This program completes right around early July.
Okay.
I think that's timed out intentionally.
Okay.
Because the thinking is that the 6 communities that get chosen for this are gonna be first in line for that funding.
Okay. But they're supposed to be releasing
Good.
1.7 billion or something. It's a lot of money.
Tennessee's looking at 1.7.
Thank you, Mr.
So
Chairman.
will just help me out now. The 2 entities that applied last time and didn't get the grant, will they reapply? And that will-
Not necessarily. That's kind of what this program is to help to decide. I've tried to lay a lot of groundwork with our power provider, utilities, to determine at what level they'd be interested in providing broadband service to their customers.
So VEC was one of them.
VEC's
It
committed.
was in Rockwood.
It was Comcast who was the last one that we had set some funds aside, was Comcast and VEC, but and Comcast is waiting to see. We've asked for them to give us a proposal either way, because the word on the street is now every house is supposed to have broadband in the coming year, and so we're running out of time to do that. So
We still have 1.1 million in
Yes.
ARP.
yes,
We designated for broadband.
for broadband, and our problem there is it has to be completed by December of 26.
So we gotta keep that in division as well, and hopefully this round of money that's coming will accelerate the amount of houses that can be reached by broadband.
Right. And Mr. Chairman, if it's telecoms, if it's utilities, I personally don't have a preference. I just want the fastest way for our people to get broadband possible.
Yeah, but I think it's, VEC is the only one that can service, the 7th district now.
Right.
So,
But in my talks with, Mr. Cooper, their, CEO, that they're committed to providing broadband service to all their customers south of the river.
any other questions for the county attorney? All right, hearing none, we'll go on to, special order. And, guys, you're gonna come down, this first name here, it says, need a motion for confirmation of appointment of Joseph Barlow, thank you, to the Environmental Review Board by the County Executive, Wade Criswell. Mr. Duff, with the motion and second by Ms. Cunningham, Mr. Duff.
Mr. Barlayer showed up at came to our last environmental review meeting, and seems like he'll be a great addition to that group.
All right, Ms. Cunningham.
Nothing to add.
All right, any discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
I don't know that we maybe do diligence and getting some of this out. I seen one resume, a list of names. Fortunately, I know some I don't. So we're trying to make some decisions on an uneducated deal. I don't know what we can do if that's a executive issue, if that's a county attorney. We need to do something.
I agree. I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Chair right now.
Thank you. When there's an executive appointment that has to be confirmed by a commission, I want to make sure I bring you a resume each time, because I feel like I'm vouching for this person.
Right.
If it's a commission appointment that's not an executive, I don't really have a say, I don't have the same ability and influence to do that. And you've got different types of appointments that come across, and I'm still learning exactly which ones are which too. So that's one of the reasons why there's differences in, you'll see resumes for some and not for others. So it may be up for a commission to decide, hey, there's a standard. If you want us to approve an appointment, set a standard for what you all want to see in that. That would just be a recommendation.
Does that have to come to a resolution, or can that just be a recommendation from the?
Just send out their resume.
I think
by email. It doesn't have, if you want to see resumes of appointments, you can just have those sent to you by email. You're not making a decision, you're just reviewing the credentials.
I think we need to make that step though, is what I'm saying to whoever wants to listen.
If you're approving somebody, yeah, you want to be able to know.
Right. That's all.
All right, thanks, sir. Any other discussion? Mr. Gann.
Yes, so with this gentleman here, the Environmental Review Board did send out a resume on him. It was probably 3 to 4 months ago, but we did get his resume. We reviewed it as the committee, the Joseph for the Environmental Review Board.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Berry.
Mr. Chairman, in response to Mr. Brackett, at one time, we did exactly what you're saying. If someone wanted to be appointed to one of our boards appointments, we would have them, and they would come early. We had it was almost like a zoning meeting, and they would present the resume beforehand, and then we had an opportunity to chat with them about the particular board and their resume. So we have done that in the past, and it's just a matter if that's what we want to choose to do again, we can certainly go back to that. I would just like to have the opportunity, not a 30-minute opportunity, not a 5-minute opportunity, but give a few days to kind of search something. We got a lot of new people moving in here that we don't know nothing about. And I just be honest with you, I think that we need to do better, try to find out some stuff. So that's our call, so, but we used to do that.
All right, any other discussion? All right, seeing none, hearing none, call for the vote. All right, special order passes, by majority vote. Confirmation of approval of Tony Brown to the city of Kingston, as the city of Kingston's representative for the solid waste advisory committee. Motion by Wilson, second by Gann. Mr. Wilson.
Nothing further.
Mr. Gann.
I think Tony would be a great addition.
All right, any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, call for vote. Confirmation of, passed on majority vote. Confirmation of reappointment of David Webb to the, IDB, and the Health, Education, and Housing Facilities Board. Motion by Mr. Hooks, second by Mr. Wilson. Mr. Hooks.
I've known David for a long time, he'll be a good member.
Mr. Wilson.
Nothing further.
Any discussion? Hearing none, call the vote. Confirmation of appointment of Doug Hill to the IDB and the Health, Education, and Housing Facility Board to fill an opening position. The term will expire 1 March 2029. I hear a motion. Motion by Gann. Do I hear a second? All right, Mr. Gann.
Nothing further, sir.
All right, Mr. Berry.
Nothing further. I think he introduced himself, so nothing further.
All right, any other discussion? All right, hearing none, seeing none, call for vote. Failed on majority vote. All right. Confirmation appointment of Janet Cash to the IDB and Health, Education, and Housing Facility Board to fill an open position. Term expires 1 March 2029. Motion? Motion by Gann, second by Mike Hooks. Mr. Gann.
Nothing further, sir.
Mr. Hooks.
Nothing further.
Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, call the vote. Passed by majority vote. Approval of surety bond for Martin Franklin Miles as the Tennessee Youth Service Officer of Roane County Juvenile Court in the amount of $2,500. Motion by Brackett, second by Wilson. Mr. Brackett.
Nothing.
Mr. Wilson.
Nothing further.
All right, any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, call the vote. Majority passed. Approval of surety bond for Melissa Lane as a youth intake officer for the amount of $5,000. Motion by Wilson, second by Hooks. Mr. Wilson.
Nothing further.
Mr. Hooks. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, call the vote. All right, I think that's all of our special orders. And then at this time, we'll go into our resolutions. Correct me if I'm wrong, the first resolution on zoning has been pulled, and then the second resolution, 3/2101, has been pulled. So we'll start tonight's business with 03/2302, resolution amending the general purpose school fund, reflecting changes in revenue expenditure estimates in 2022 and 23 fiscal year. Do I have a motion? Motion by Wilson, second by Gann. Mr. Wilson.
This has been before the budget committee. This is received by the state, 95158. It's no increase. It's mainly for the CTE program. Is that correct, Mr. Doug? Is that what we said?
Well, Spark Grant was a grant that was received for CT for about $95,000.
Correct, yes. Nothing further.
All right, Mr. Gann. All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, call for vote. Passed by majority. All right, resolution amending the general capital project fund 171, CIF and IND sub-funds reflecting change in expenditures for 22-23 FY. Motion by Bell and second by Wilson. Mr. Bell.
I turn it over to County Executive.
Two things this accomplishes. Number one, Outdoor Kingston requested funding through the, but Fund 171, which is capital fund, has sub-funds. One of those is Capital Community Investment Fund, CIF. There's about $60,000 in that fund. They requested $3,000 to extend a boat ramp on Paint Rock Ferry Road. So this is to pay Atwater Kingston $3,000 out of that fund to complete that ramp. Second thing this does is it also in 171 subfund IND, the money that is collected from the sale of industrial properties goes into this fund for the use of development of future sites. And that's exactly what this is for here. We're moving $1.2 million out of IND for the extension of Sam Rayburn Parkway, which is a cul-de-sac now. So it will extend the cul-de-sac and take all the utilities to the end of that too. This is in association with that current project we have that we're recruiting right now.
That's all. All right, Mr. Wilson, you had a second.
Nothing further.
All right, Mr. Berry, would you question the motion?
No, sir.
Okay. Any discussion on this resolution 03-2303? Hearing none, seeing none, call for vote. All right. Passed by majority vote, resolution 03-2304, resolution to replace the current $500,000 tax anticipation loan that is currently being reflected as a due from general fund purpose school fund to the federal project fund. Motion by Wilson and Bell, motion by Bell.
Send that to executive as well.
Let me get it fully forward here. Second by Wilson.
That's correct.
All right.
So these are funds that are within the schools. Let me make sure I get my terminology right here. So we're moving money from the school's general purpose school funds to the federal projects fund. Currently, before this resolution, this $500,000 is labeled as a loan. So we're changing classification of those funds so that it doesn't appear as a liability at the end of this tax year. So this is an accounting move. These funds will be reimbursed. Again, this all stays within schools. They'll be reimbursed at a future date as their ESSER funds, which are like the county's ARC funds, are depleted. Those funds will be released to go back to where they came from, basically. Because right now they're there for cash flow purposes. Connie, is that accurate enough? Okay.
All right, thank you, sir. Any other discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, call for vote. All right, passed by majority vote. Resolution 03-2305, resolution approving the fee provision in a pilot agreement negotiated by the Roane County Industrial Development Board. I hear a motion. Motion by Wilson, second by Perry. Mr. Wilson.
I would like to turn the floor over to our interim president for the Roane Alliance. If he would like to speak on this, if not, I can turn it over to the executive.
Okay. All right, let me, Mr. Berry.
Yeah, this is a really good thing that they're bringing to us, because it means that, they're really doing good things. And we've got a really good project that's worthwhile. The closing fees, have been a thing that really hasn't had to be negotiated in the past. So we finally to a plateau of a company that's coming here that knows what to ask for. So Justin, I would turn it over to you and first of all say thanks for putting a project like this together.
It's an exciting project. It was a time-sensitive project, and the board felt it was necessary to waive the closing fee to win the project. So we appreciate y'all's support. I'll answer any questions that you have.
And Mr. Chairman, I think, Justin, the magnitude of this is that basically the closing fees are like $180,000. So that tells you the magnitude of our project. We've never had one probably that great, and I think the only question I would have is we're doing this on a case-by-case basis, I guess, so do we need parameters to say, to keep everybody from coming wanting us to do closing costs for them?
It helps when the projects are time sensitive, like this one was. We're gonna have a future project here in a few months that's gonna come with a pilot application. And it would be nice to go ahead and equip the board to give them the ability to negotiate. Not to say that we're gonna waive the closing fee, but give them the ability to negotiate it. And if we need to leverage that, to push the project forward, that would be nice to have.
So do we need a number? Do we need a number that says if it's?
That's what the next resolution's for. That's exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Chair recognizes Mr. Parks.
So is this close the deal? If we pass this resolution, is it gonna move forward?
And the project will continue to move forward. There's purchase and sales agreements that have been signed. With those agreements are due diligence periods that we have to work through. So I'm excited, I wanna get to the closing table too, so we can announce this. But, everything is favorable, and with the support of waiving this pilot application fee tonight, the project will continue to move forward.
That's good.
All right,
Just
any other?
one thing, Mr. Chairman, on this one, will the minimum and maximum stay the same? 300,000, is that, are we keeping those, or do we need to change those?
We need to revisit those. We're in a year where we have to do a reauthorization of the pilot policy.
Okay.
So at least by the end of the year, we need to revisit that.
Okay.
Our closing fee up to $300,000 is way above any other community in the state.
Okay.
So we need to bring that.
Okay, thank you.
Chair recognizes Mr. Goff.
Thank you. Now, what's the, I guess, projective or a time range of this? Is there one available?
July, September.
The state is, I'd say probably first stage, probably October of this year, followed by, where they're at, by the end of this year, probably completed.
That's all right, sir. Thank you.
Part of this deal is the spec building on Jones Road. This project is purchasing that building, so it has to be built to their specifications. So that'll take us through at least July, August, and then if that's done sufficiently, then we can close hopefully on the building.
All right, any other discussion on, 03-2305? Hearing none, seeing none, call vote. All right, majority passed. Resolution 03-2306, resolution modifying, the VI1 and VI2 of Roane County, Tennessee, property tax incentive program policies and procedures. Motion by Berry, second by Wilson. Mr. Berry.
So now, Justin.
Yes.
But before, let me just say that, you know, how exciting it is to get, you've taken a lot of heat over Jones Road. You bring us something, and our first deal was, remember, Justin, we said we wanted 300 jobs, and we wanted this. Jones Road was all of our apples in the basket, blah, blah, blah. Well, it sounds like you delivered, so we apologize for maybe sometimes, but it was all we had. It was all we had, and it looks like it's gonna be well worth the wait, and thank you for that. Now, and as we respond to this, you need to let us know how we need to respond to this information you're requesting.
I would look for a majority approval, to authorize the board the ability to negotiate to reduce or waive a pilot closing fee.
Okay, so we would give the industrial board the ability, as you're negotiating with XYZ or WIX or
Yes.
whoever it is, the ability to negotiate
To reduce.
or eliminate the closing fee.
Yes. Not to say that that's gonna happen, but to be competitive, to be, there with a time-sensitive project, it helps to have those tools available to be able to negotiate.
Okay. So then I would yield to you, Mr.
No, just a second, let me get the other commissioner. Mr. Wilson, you had a second?
Nothing further.
All right, sir.
So what this resolution does is change the language of our current pilot agreement to authorize the IDB to negotiate application and closing fees. And then we'll come back, well, IDB will come back November or December?
It'll be the November.
November with a new proposal. It may be very similar to what we end up with after tonight, but based on some of the things we talked about in budget committee, we may have to look at some of the matrix numbers and those kind of things.
And currently, we have no, matrix in place, right?
We have nobody under a current pilot right now.
So we've run our gamut, and now they're taxpayers,
When they're done, we execute quit claim deeds to get the property put back in their name.
and so it's doing exactly what we asked it to do, though, right?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, call vote. All right, motion passed by majority. 03-2307, resolution authorizing Roane County to join the state of Tennessee and other local governments to participate in the Tennessee State Subdivision Opioid Abatement Agreement. Motion by Brackett, second by Hooks. Mr. Brackett.
No.
Mr. Hooks.
No.
Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, call for vote. All right, majority passed. 03-2308, a resolution authorizing the county executive to appoint a Roane County Opioid Settlement Funds Advisory Committee. Motion by Wilson, second by Gann. Mr. Wilson.
Kind of speaks for itself, if you want to talk on that.
Sure, thank you.
Mr. Gann.
No, I was gonna turn it over to Wade.
I'm a hot seat tonight. Yeah, but I appreciate it. I felt like, I forgot my paper, I was gonna quote that article I told you about the budget committee, but
Those are the closest to it, should be the ones making decisions.
thank you very much, Commissioner Gann. There was a quote in a NACO paper that said that it was talking about a community in Wisconsin that had successfully worked through a process to appropriate some of these settlement funds, and the quote was that those who are closest to the issue are best equipped to be able to advise on how to make an impact on it. And what I wanted to provide was to put together a group of people who are working in this issue every single day that could then advise you on the settlement funds that we have available. And right now we have $622,000 available. We're anticipating this being a recurring process. You know, who knows how many times. We don't know anything very specific right now, but we think this will be an ongoing issue. I would like to put together an objective tool for you all to be able to decide on how to best spend these funds. So this isn't me saying, hey guys, this is how you need to do this. I'd like to put together a group of people that can give you the best advice on how to spend these funds. That's what it's about.
All right, any other, Mr. Goss?
Mr. Good, have you got a set way that you're gonna actually form this committee, or, I mean, is it gonna be through an application process, or?
No, I mean, I'd like to work pretty quickly. If you all approve this, you know, I've got a list of his physicians, pharmacists, therapists, people who, counselors, law enforcement, you know, the prevention, folks, people who are in this every day, who can work together as a team to come back with a recommendation for you all. Now, I've got a preliminary list I'm working through right now. I've talked to a few folks to see if they'd be willing to be on it, a couple commissioners who have agreed to be on it. So, you know, I'd like to get a list put together pretty quickly and get that enacted, so to get you all information as soon as possible. There's $622,000 ready to spend.
So any recommendations that may want to come, they need to come.
Oh, they're already coming to me, yeah, so, yeah, they can send them to me.
Mr. Bragg?
I would just like to say on a recommendation, I think our teachers, they see it at every level that kids and some of the young kids is affected and directly affected by some of this, and maybe got, you know, somebody in the system, the school system.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Ms. Cunningham?
Are you gonna have commissioners on that committee as well?
Yes.
All right, any other discussion on, 03-2308? Hearing none, seeing none, call for vote. All right, motion passed. All right, our last resolution for tonight's 03-2309, a resolution authorizing the county executive to reapply for a funding from the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services for fiscal year 2024. Motion by Wilson, second by Duff. Mr. Wilson.
This one kind of speaks for itself, it's just, applying, reapplying for it, hope we get another money.
All right, Mr. Duff. All right, any discussion? Call the vote. All right, if there's no other business coming from the body, do I hear a motion to?
If I may, a lot of us know Chief Mike Works in the city of Rockwood has left for a better home. He was probably was the oldest serving member of the Rockwood Fire Department. So us, as we depart here tonight, let's remember him and his family. He brought a lot, not only to the Rockwood Fire Department, but to emergency management and public safety as a whole. So if we would, let's remember Mike Works' family as we depart here this evening.
One last request to speak, Mr. Chris Lane, Chair recognizes you.
I'm sorry.
So that's, I hear a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second? Second. All those in favor? Aye.
Unanimous motion to adjourn. Yeah, I'll stay a little bit more, I got to think what's that.